Welcome. February is Black History Month, a time set aside to remember the important people and events from Black history. Today we welcome you to our annual Black History program. We hope that you enjoy the program. Our Deerlake chorus will now play a selection. Thank you, Mrs. Dollar and chorus members. We will now have a poetry selection read by Leah Quiros.
Lift every voice and sing. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty, let our rejoicing rise, high as listening skies. Let her sound loud as a rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the heaven has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bittering the chassis.
Broken down and
Felt in the days when hope and born had died. Yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over a way that with tears had been watered. We have come treading our path through to the blood of the slaughtered, out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where at the white gleam of the bright stars cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us this far on the way, thou who hast passed by thy might, let us into the light. Keep us forever in the path, we pray, lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we meet thee. Lest our hearts, drunk from the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, forever we may stand. True to our God, true to our native land.
It did it. It did. It made the noise. It's flat. It's on. Yeah, it's warming up.
of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can find out why by seeing you, so we can walk it out. Ooh, mountain, we can walk it out, and mountain, and I'll rise like the day. I rise unafraid. I rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I rise like the waves. I rise up, in spite of the age. I rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Ooh, mountains, bring it to its feet. Ooh, mountains. And I'll rise like the day. of the age. I will rise 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up. I like the waves. We'll rise up. In spite of the ache, we'll rise up. And we'll do it 1,000 times again.
Now Ms. Kelly will introduce our guest speaker, Mrs. LaToya Washington.
LaToya Washington is the current Corporate Relations Manager at the Florida Association of Countries, where she is responsible for $2 million of the operating budget. She is also the current Executive Director for the Tallahassee Juniors Volleyball Club, where she coaches and trains athletes. Since joining TJVBC, LaToya has helped over 50 athletes earn scholarships to play college volleyball. She also helps in building character, discipline, and hard work in young ladies in Tallahassee. She has 3 daughters, 2 of whom are playing in college now, and 1 who is a sophomore at Leon. Not only was she my former coach and now my boss at Tallahassee Juniors, she is a true mentor and friend of many years. She has taught me how to be a great teammate and leader, and I'm thankful for the life lessons on and off the court.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys for having me. It's exciting to see our young people putting on programs. That's amazing to see. And working with so many young kids across Tallahassee, it's good to see us doing positive things. And so keep it up. You guys are doing great. And I look forward to speaking to you. So I'm going to go off script just a little bit. Do I have to use this microphone? Can you hear me without the microphone?
Yes.
I'm going to put the microphone down. I just have to use my coach voice today. But if you ever can't hear me, just raise your hand and I'll grab the mic. I don't have a problem doing that. I'm going to go off script for just a little bit because I don't know if you know, but I remembered it's also Michelle's birthday today. So on the count of 3, in true coach form, we're going to say happy birthday, Coach Michelle, because she is also a coach, which I'm really excited about too. So on 3, we're going to say happy birthday, Coach Michelle, and then, hold on, and then I need you to get back to yourself right now because you're doing a really good job. So on 3, we're going to say happy birthday, Coach Michelle, and then we'll start with the program. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Coach Michelle! Thank you guys for indulging me with that. As Michelle said, I was her coach a long time ago, and seeing her come back and do some of the things that I've done when I was her age, it really makes me happy because it makes me feel like I made an impact on her life to see kind of what she's doing here with a lot of her kids. So I'm really proud of that, and I'm happy to be here speaking with you. Another tie back to Deerlake, my oldest daughter, who is now about to graduate college in May, also went to Deerlake Middle School. And when she was here, it looked a lot different. In fact, this was the gym. And so a lot of things have changed since I've been here the last time. I want to let you know that periodically throughout my speech, I'm going to ask you questions. So just feel free to shout it out, but I want to make sure that you're engaged in what I'm saying because hopefully you'll take something away today that will be applicable to something that you're doing, if not now, in the future. So first question to start off, how many student athletes do we have in the room? If you play a sport, play an instrument, play something. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of you know how hard work starts and begins. And that's kind of where my story began. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, where kids who lived in my neighborhood, we really didn't go to college. We really didn't do much. And so it was my mother and father's hope that I would grow up to do something. And they didn't quite know what it was, and so they sent me on this path to kind of figure that out for myself. I found my love in athletics, anything sports, basketball, softball, track and field, and volleyball. I did it all when I was growing up, and I loved every minute of it. The sport that stuck out the most to me was volleyball, and that's what I decided I wanted to do. Although I did a lot of sports, I was not very good at volleyball. But I was very good at basketball, and I was very good at track, and I was very good at softball, but I really wanted to be really good at volleyball. And if you know anything about sports, you know that height is a big advantage, and as you can see, I don't really have that. So for me, it was about trying to figure out how I can separate myself from all the athletes that are around me. My very first lesson I learned at a really young age, and I had a coach tell me that I wasn't big enough to play Division I volleyball. She also told me that I wasn't good enough. And so as the athletes in the room, you know that's not going over well with you. And so what do? What do you do when someone tells you you're not good enough?
Get better.
You work harder. And so that's exactly what I did. I was practicing before practice, after practice, during practice. Anytime I could have a volleyball in my hand, that's what I did. Because my ultimate goal became to prove her wrong. And then I got another coach. She didn't last very long. Imagine that. I got another coach, and he was very supportive, and he was supportive of my dream and what I wanted to do. I wanted to be the first in my home to go to college, but I wanted to be the first at my school to receive a Division I scholarship in volleyball, and that's what I did. I graduated. I got a scholarship to come to Florida State all the way from Michigan. Very different weathers, very cold to very hot. But I did that. I became the first person in my family to go to college and graduate, and I became the first athlete in my school, female athlete in my school, to earn a Division I scholarship. And so, now, as you know, with athletics, there also comes the academic portion of that. If I was not strong in the classroom, then I wouldn't have been able to come to Florida State to play volleyball. And so both my mom and my coaches were very adamant to me that not only will you be an athlete, but you will be a student athlete. And so upon coming into Florida State and graduating, not only was I an All-American, not only was I All-Conference, but I was also the most proud of being an all-academic my 4 years at Florida State University. And so I say that to make sure that you are keeping your academics into perspective, even if your dream is to go off and play college athletics. You can't do one without the other. At Florida State, I met my husband. I started coaching and I started teaching, kind of along the same path that Michelle is on right now. I quickly realized that I loved coaching. I kind of liked teaching, but I really wanted to be on the court, working with athletes, impacting them that way. Well, teaching allowed me early on in my career to be able to do that, and it impacted my family the least, because what I learned growing up young and starting my family right out of college is that you spend a lot of your time and a lot of your resources working to help kids achieve their great dreams. So your teachers, your coaches, all of those resources that you have right now, know that they're sacrificing something to do something for you. So make sure that you are appreciative of the people that are in your life that are helping you go where you want to go. You might not see it now, but later on you will realize the value and hopefully appreciate the time that they've invested in you. And so at Florida State, I started doing all these things. I graduated, met my future husband, did all these things, but it wasn't enough for me. I wanted to do more. I wanted to be more impactful in the community, but I didn't quite know how I was going to do that. I was coaching, and I knew that I loved to do that, and I was starting my family, and I knew I loved that. And so I was trying to figure out how to start writing my family's book. And what I mean by that is, I feel like as people, every day you're writing a chapter to your book, whether you realize it or not, and yours is starting now. So the things that you are putting out there now, the things that you are doing, those are all pages in your book that hopefully upon the end will be a great book. And so I wanted to do more in the community, and so I had an opportunity to start working with a local travel volleyball club. At the time, I really didn't know what that meant, really didn't know time commitment, what that would be, but I knew that it was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to help kids who may have had similar stories to mine or may not have had similar stories to mine, but had the dream of wanting to play college volleyball. And so I started working with a volleyball club, and at some point during that time, it became mine. And so my husband and I, we kind of took that challenge, and we wanted to grow our club, grow our athletes, grow what we were doing. And so that's what we did. We built this whole community of folks around us that really helped us kind of write our book, or write that particular chapter of our book. And so we took this volleyball club and we grew it into something really big. We, for a long time, didn't have our own facility, and so our next dream, that next big dream for us, was to build our own facility. While we were saving for that and we were making all the right decisions to make sure that that was going to be a reality for us, and then in 2017, my life crashed. My husband died. The man, My husband died in 2017. And 2 months later, my mom died. And at that point, I had a decision that I needed to make. Was this going to be the end of my book, or was I going to start that next chapter? And so what I decided to do is I decided to start that next chapter, because I didn't want it to end like that. I didn't want that to be the end. And so I did. We built our building. It was our dream to do that. We built our own facility. And now we're servicing more than 150 families in Tallahassee. That was also... I'm not supposed to be crying right now. When I rehearsed this, I did not cry. But I'll tell you, life happens. And bad things always happen to good people. And you think that when you're doing everything right and you're on this path and everything is going great, you think that nothing will happen. Well, it does. But how you respond to what happens is what makes you who you are. How do you build from adversity? How do you build from struggle? What do you do next? And so the next for me was to show my daughters that yes, this happened, but we can overcome this, and we can still do great things, and we can still be great to our community, and we can still go and achieve our dreams, and we can still go and touch all these lives, and we can still be great. Even though a part of us is gone, what chapter are we writing next? And that's where the perseverance comes in. So we started writing our new chapter. My kids went off to college. They started doing their own thing, and me and my youngest daughter, we're here now, but we're still wanting to leave our own legacy. What will people say about you? And one of the great things, I hate that my husband had to die for me to really realize it, but I realized what an impactful person he was in the community. I realized how many people across the state of Florida he had affected just with our travel volleyball club. And it made me think to myself, I want people saying stuff like that about me. But I don't want it to happen when I die. I want them to say that about me now. So the chapter that I'm writing now is that. What are people saying about you? You as a person right now, what are they saying? Are they saying you're kind? Are they saying you're mean and nasty? What are they saying about you? And those are the pages in the book that you are writing right now. When you come to school and you really don't want to be here, let's face it, how many of you came today and was like, yes, I'm excited about this Black History program? A lot more hands went up for I'm an athlete. But you have those moments and you have those days where you just don't want to be bothered. But then you got to go and you have to be around people. And you don't want to be around people. So what are you saying? How are you affecting that person that you are in communication with? Are you kind? Are you nice? Are you talking to the person who eats lunch by himself every day? What part of your story are you writing every single day that you walk through those doors of Deerlake? How does your story affect someone else's story? If I come in and I'm a jerk to this young man right here, and I'm always a jerk to him, what is he writing in his book about me?
You're a jerk.
Jerk. And is that what I want him to be saying about me? Do I even care what he thinks? You should. You should care if you're a jerk. You make sure that you are not the villain in someone else's book. Does that mean that every single thing you do, everybody is going to like? No. They're not. That's life. Nobody's going to like every single thing you do. But are you doing the right thing? And that's what you have to think about when you are writing your pages to your book. So to bring this in and wrap it up, when I started writing the next chapter of my book, and I don't know how many chapters are in my book. I don't know. But what I do know is that I want to make sure that I am impacting people in a meaningful way. Whether that's me speaking to you when I see you or ask you how you're doing and genuinely care, or if that's helping an athlete that's struggling with a skill to get better, or if that's talking to legislators. That's what I do every single day, and it's hard. Talking to adults is hard. But talking to you is harder. Just kidding. No, you guys have been great. But what pages are you writing in that book? And what is your ending going to look like? My motivation to you is to make sure that your pages are reading like the book you want to read if you were reading it for someone else. Thank you.
Washington, on behalf of the Deerlake administration.
In 7th grade student body, we would like to thank you for sharing your time with us.
All right, one more time, Ms. Washington, one more time. I hope you guys heard something very inspiring today that's going to push you guys forward the rest of the school year to make sure you guys are doing your best in everything that you do. And remember, one thing that inspired me that she said is that we don't know how many chapters our book is going to be. You think we live today like we got tomorrow guaranteed. And the truth of the matter is that tomorrow is not promised to you. So everything you want to live today like it's your last day. And you want to live today like you want to make an impact on someone's life. Because at the end of the day, you know, the chapter ends. When the chapter ends, the chapter ends. Okay? You want to seize every moment to do the best that you possibly can do. Okay? All right, so we're going to go ahead and go back to our classes at this point.